Welcome, everybody. Today, my name is Adam Ringham or Adam Ocean, go by a little bit of both, and I am here with my partner and co-owner and co-founder, Joey Phillips, the genius behind so many different things. And tonight, we're going to be covering a real brief, real short, well, brief and short is a relative term here, but we're going to be covering everything DentiCore. Now, kind of this was inspired because Joey and myself as well and probably everybody listening, the dentist is a gigantic pain, not only for yourself, but for your kids. And it's really expensive. And just having your teeth being healthy from the beginning and not having to deal with it, not only just general health benefits from having your oral microbiome and your oral health good of what that does for your gut health and your brain health, but then also not needing to go to the dentist and spend a fortune on a bunch of different things. And that was kind of the whole reason Mr. Joey formulated this for the most part to just be able to say, like, listen, I'm tired of doing this stuff. I want to do something for my kids that they had a tooth emergency. Joey's like, I ain't paying that much. Be like, we got something else that will take care of it. So, what's great, it is not only adult friendly, denture friendly, any kind of oral work that you have had done, completely friendly with that, but also very kid friendly. It's got a fantastic taste. So it's very good for even kids that don't like all the stuff. I've tried 30 different toothpaste trying to find a good natural one because obviously I want fluoride free. So I've cycled through a ton of them, and one of them I used for a while. I ended up having a lawsuit because full of stuff that destroyed your gums. And I'm like, well, couldn't be a better time for this. So without further ado, we're just going to get into the presentation talking about what is DentiCore, what are its ingredients, what are its benefits, how does it work, and cover the whole 30,000 foot view in the most time appropriate way possible. So let's get this started. So tonight, talking about DentiCore, and what we're going to be talking about really is the four pillars of oral health. So obviously, healthy smile is more than just good looks; it's a reflection of overall well-being. Because unfortunately, people kind of judge a book by its cover, but it's also something that is kind of true. That if you got, a bunch of all janky teeth that are all rotten out and all discolored and everything, people are going to judge us by it. But it also is a reflection of the internal health and of our personal care. And so one of the things is, unfortunately, sometimes you brush with all the great toothpaste and everything that there is, and it still doesn't work. We find a lot of people have that problem, especially if you yourself are what we call mouth breathers, or your children are mouth breathers, dries out the oral cavity, and so the oral microbiome goes. So anyway, we've developed something to solve these problems, and it's called DentiCore. Now, at the heart of everything we do at Glycogenics is our gene technology. It's a glyco-enhanced nano-encapsulation. So in this case, it's a nano hydrogel. It's 100% natural, polysaccharide-based infusion to deliver these really complex nutrients, not only where they're needed most, but really effectively. And what I'd like to point out too, that when we say a nano hydrogel or a nanotechnology, we don't mean any of the nefarious nonsense that's out there. What we just mean is small. So we use everything completely natural to actually fight back against a lot of this other nanotechnology that you really don't want in you. And so unlike the synthetic materials and the synthetic compounds and all these other additives, our technology really harnesses these naturally occurring compounds that your body loves, and it creates this really gentle, biocompatible carrier that really holds together and then releases and delivers all the ingredients that we've got. So this means nutrients like minerals, plant extracts, essential oils, vitamins. They get delivered effectively into all tissues, and especially for tonight, we're going to be talking about dental tissues such as enamel, dentin, gums, and enhancing their oral benefits. So the foundation of our healthy smile, we have four different pillars we're looking at. We've got the enamel, that's the outermost layer of the tooth. It's composed of minerals, calcium, and phosphate, and it's the hardest substance in the body. And that's what's really protecting the tooth from the decay and damage. But beneath that, we've got the dentin, and this really forms the bulk of the tooth, which is composed of collagens, minerals, and water. And so it helps to support the enamel and protect the pulp. But then we get into the pulp, which is the soft tissue at the center of the tooth that contains the nerves, the blood vessels, and connective tissue. And so the pulp really provides nutrients and sensations and vitality to the tooth. So pulp related issues like inflammation are normally the ones that your dentist goes, oh my gosh, we've got to do a root canal. And now those of you watching probably understand that root canals potentially may not be in your best interest. So also we have the cementum, which covers the tooth and anchors it to the jawbone. So it actually keeps your tooth in where it needs to be. And it's mostly composed of minerals and collagen fibers. And this can wear away due to gum recession, causing loose teeth or even sensitivity. So when we're covering the four pillars, we've got the enamel, the dentin, the cementum, and the pulp. Each one plays a different role, and each one has to be supported differently. So every other toothpaste that's out there does like maybe one, at best two of these different things. We do all four in synergy. So we use this science-based approach using these really carefully selected ingredients to target the genes, the pathways, and the nutrients that really nourish the dental tissue. So let's get into some of them. Our first one that we're going to talk about is a calcium hydroxyapatite. And so what's really important to point out that there's a bunch of companies that say, hey, cool, we'll put a nano hydroxyapatite or this calcium hydroxyapatite in the toothpaste. And well, it's got really a great safety profile. The big thing is if you're just dumping the mineral on the tooth, you're like, hey, we got some baking soda or whatever most natural toothpaste is, your body has absolutely no idea what to do with it. So we're going to talk about this. This is really kind of the primary mineral component of teeth and bones. And so it really works in promoting enamel remineralization and dentin regeneration. So makes the overall tooth structure stronger, and it can help repair the damage to the enamel and restore this protective barrier. And it can also help reduce sensitivity by blocking the pathways that transmit the pain signals, because many people have sensitive teeth. So it also helps prevent the formation of cavities by inhibiting, oral bacteria. And so when we support all of these different functions in one, we get a better smile. And so it plays overall role in promoting the health of the gums as well and the underlying bone structure. So this acts like a crew, building and reinforcing from your teeth from the inside out. And so it's got a natural biocompatibility with tooth structure, but a big thing to point out, like I said, is just because you put calcium hydroxyapatite into a toothpaste doesn't mean your body has any idea what to do with it. It's like taking a construction crew, to removing the construction crew, and I just drop off a bunch of raw materials at a construction site. You have to have somebody or something that knows what to do with them before it can be used. So rather than just dumping a pile of, calcium hydroxyapatite at the construction site and going, hope you figure it out, we actually have taken all of this glycoimmunology and this glycotechnology together that we do with our gene technology to actually deliver the instructions for your body and your teeth to be able to actually use it and integrate it instead of just let's throw it there and pray that something works. The next one that we put in, theobromine, an extract from cocoa, and its key benefits, cavity protection, antimicrobial, a natural alternative to fluoride because fluoride is poison. It's great for reducing plaque formation. It increases the enamel microhardness and acid resistance. It helps to restore tooth enamel by increasing the crystallinity of the hydroxyapatite. So our ingredients, we put them together. We don't just do one ingredient and then pair it with our gene tech, which in its own would be absolutely stellar, but we actually pair synergies between them. So the hydroxyapatite and the theobromine work together, and we can support dentin remineralization. And so, in simple terms, what does this mean? It's a signal booster that enhances the calcium hydroxyapatite's benefits while supporting taste and the immune health. And it's shown really promising research in oral health for strengthening tooth enamel, remineralizing it, and also inhibiting bacterial growth. So you can go on PubMed and you can find theobromine and the benefits for oral health. And some studies suggest it may be even more effective at remineralization than fluoride. Well, fluoride's poison, so anything is better than that. So this makes it a really great co-compounding ingredient. Next, we've got tricalcium phosphate, which supports the enamel, the dentin, and the cementum. And so it provides a synergistic calcium phosphate source to whiten the teeth. It helps to buffer acidity and supports the enamel formation with the previous ingredients. It helps to combat dental erosion, addresses hypersensitivity, and it helps this hydroxyapatite work together so it can strengthen the teeth even further, even faster, even better. So this is a helper ingredient that really helps calcium do its job because it promotes the remineralization of the tooth enamel and also acts as a source for the calcium and phosphate ions, which are essential for rebuilding this damaged tooth enamel. So it also shows promise in synergizing with theobromine's effect to enhance oral health. So once again, more synergy. We've also put a hydrolyzed collagen in to support dentin, cementum, and pulp. And so it serves as a scaffold for these hydroxyapatite crystals because the hydroxyapatite, like I said, we can't just dump it on the construction site and hope somebody knows what to do with it. This collagen helps to provide this crystallized lattice and scaffolding for the hydroxyapatite to really stick there, do its job, and then form appropriately. And it can promote bone regeneration, supports the periodontum, which then supports the surrounding teeth, and it helps prevent gum recession. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps support wound healing. And so this is kind of like the steel beams for your smile's foundation. So it really plays a particular role in bone formation and structure, and it's a key component of the extracellular matrix of teeth, gums, and bones, providing that scaffolding for mineral deposition and really helping to just improve the synergy even further. So hyaluronic acid, you've maybe heard of this being used for your skin. Well, it also works with the dentin, cementum, and gums. So it's a non-sulfated glycosaminoglycan found in the extracellular matrix of soft tissues in the oral cavity. It's used to promote healing in the periodontal wounds that aid the regeneration of lost tissue. So anyone that's got receding gums or gum damage or even teeth damage. So it also provides relief, accelerated healing, and it helps to make this nice protective barrier against pathogenic bacteria, irritants, and then it just helps to contribute to the maintenance of these healthy oral tissues. It aids in maintaining the healthy oral microflora balance, and it helps to keep the tissues hydrated. Like we talked about mouth breathers, when the mouth dries out a bunch, that's actually really bad for your teeth. So, in short terms, moisture retention, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial properties, hydrating, and it helps speed wound healing. So it helps to the gums to regenerate better. Nervonic acid, this stuff is really cool. This supports the pulp and the nerve health. And it's a key component in myelin, the fatty sheath that insulates the nerve fibers and plays a crucial role in supporting the nerve supply to the tooth because your teeth all have nerves. So also nervonic acid helps to maintain bone density as well as the production of myelin, which is important for proper nerve function. So it's a protective coating that keeps the nerves healthy, pain-free, and ensures the teeth are well insulated and functioning optimally. So deer antler velvet supports dentin, cementum, and the pulp, rich in glycosaminoglycanogens glycogens like glucosamine and chondroitin. So connective tissue support, big here, and it goes really, really well with the hydrolyzed collagen and the hyaluronic acid. So we also get periodontium support, so it surrounds the tissue surrounding the teeth, and it supports dental stem cells, ameloblasts, and odontoblasts. So also works with tissue repair, promoting mineralization in the dentin and the cementum, and contains growth factors and IGF-1 for tissue repair, and also enhances healthy oral microbiota. So simple terms, it's a natural regenerator for your smile. So these are the essential components as a base dental membrane, and it helps to where they help regulate how the cells stick together, how they grow, how they divide, how they specialize, and shaping tooth structure. And so the gag support really helps with the stability of the tissues around the teeth, influencing the cell signaling, and additionally, key component for differentiation in dental stem cells, which is a key issue for tissue regeneration and repair. Bamboo extract. Now, this one, silica really goes unnoticed in its role in teeth and bones. Silica actually plays an enormous role in piezoelectric signaling. So, this bamboo extract is very high in silica, which helps to support the enamel, the dentum, and the cementum. So, it helps to remove plaque and stains from the teeth gently. It also helps to reduce tooth sensitivity and prevent dental caries, erosion, supports the bone matrix strength, helps to inhibit oral bacteria, especially those with bad breath. It works with enamel repair properties. It also limits oral bacteria's access to bad sugars and their ability to form a biofilm. So it basically like blocks the sugars that these pathogenic bacteria use to make biofilms. It's got antioxidant properties and it supports the bone matrix. So this is like adding rebar that reinforces your concrete or the concrete. So it supports the tooth enamel, the dentin, and the cementum by supplying silica, which is a really overlooked compound. Everybody talks about magnesium or calcium and once in a while copper and phosphorus, but silica is at the core of so many bodily functions. So this bamboo extract is the exact way to get the best, most bioavailable silica to not only help whiten the teeth gently, but then also support all of these different structures. So D-Mannose, you've maybe heard of this. People say, oh, if they get kidney infections, they'll use D-Mannose. Well, it does a lot more than that because it supports the gums, the oral microbiome, the pulp, and it helps to balance the oral microbiome, support the immune function, reduce bone loss, anti-inflammatory properties, and decreases neutrophil activity in inflamed gum tissues. It works with tissue regeneration of the periodontal ligament stem cells, which are crucial for periodontal tissue regeneration. And it also can help inhibit the growth of acid production bacteria, which are linked to cavities, and plays a crucial role in the body's ability to detect and respond to pathogens. Because part of the thing in the oral cavity, these bacteria, they're smart. The pathogenic ones like to hide from the immune system, so they obviously get to stay and survive. Well, D-Mannose helps the immune system and the oral microbiome target these pathogenic microorganisms so they can't hide and they can't sit here and build up these different biofilms that just then degrade your teeth. So these cavity-causing bacteria, the D-Mannose helps to highlight, tag them, and bag them. So D-Mannose is kind of like the ice. It's the one that comes in and says, all right, you illegal immigrants, get out of here. I'm sorry, maybe it was a little bit too soon for that joke, but Sialic acid. This one is really cool. Nobody is using this. You know what? Joey, would you do us a favor and just pop on for a second? I know this is going to be like probably one of the best ones you're going to love to talk about. Go to town, my friend.
Yeah, it's a specialized sugar. And so not all sugars are created equal, but sialic acid is the first point of contact on the cell surface. And so that goes for anything. The word sialic actually means um, saliva is the name. That's what it translates to. And so it fit perfectly. The number one gene associated with dentin and the ability for your body to maintain it and regenerate it throughout the life is it's called dentin salioprotein, and this the salio part of that stands for sialic acid. And this one's really cool because, like you said earlier, with the calcium hydroxyapatite, um, it needs instructions. Well, that's what sialic acid does. That's what this gene does, is it provides the instructions to allow the calcium hydroxyapatite to be able to stick and regenerate the tooth. So that's one of the missing things out of most oral health products is this specialized sugar is one of the most important sugars in glycoimmunology because again, it is the first point of contact. And so what that means is that anything that comes into contact with you and tonight's call with the oral, microbiome and things like that, it has to slip past your sialic acid receptor, which sits at the very tippy top of what they call the sugar chain in the body. So you got these like sugar chains that come off the cell and they dictate all biological responses because they control all cell to cell communication in the body. And if the communication network breaks down, everything else breaks down because your body doesn't know what to do. So it gets the instructions from these sugar chains, and sialic acid is the spear. It's like the tippy top of the entire sugar chain. And its job, primarily, get this, is to be able to flag things that are not supposed to be there, like Mannose does. But this one's really special because it determines self versus non-self. To be or not to be. That is the question. And so this one's a really special sugar, you guys. Without sialic acid, again, you're not going to be able to maintain the dentine properly, and we just don't get these specialized sugars in our diet at all.
Yeah, so it's like we said, our synergy of what has been put together, and Joey's the real genius that needs to get credit on this one. But being able to put these all together, I mean, number one, we're talking compounds that you're lucky if you get one or two of them in your toothpaste, and we're not even going, we still got a ways to go. And all of it was specifically and deliberately done together to work together in this harmonious orchestra in your this oral symphony that's being played. So without further ado, I think we kind of covered like how cool is
Can
Sialic.
I add one more thing to
Oh,
that?
of course.
Sialic acid is the most important sugar for a developing brain. And so DentiCore is safe to consume. So you're going to want to brush once. I usually do that to get all the tartar off. And then I do two more pumps. one for my top teeth and one for the bottom teeth. And then I swallow it because these nutrients are absolutely fantastic, especially for kids and their growing minds. Without salic acid, um, the child's brain doesn't have the capability to be at its full potential. I'll just say it like that. So this is why it's really important. It's why we put it in special effects also to help children. But this sugar is like one of the most important sugars, and it pairs extremely well with D-Mannose.
Yeah,
So
so
I'll just leave it at that.
no, that's perfect though. So parents, not only is the toothpaste safe for oral use, if your kid swallows it, it's good for them. So it's totally okay. So we have the safest, most beneficial toothpaste there is. Beta glucans, these are fun. It's a polysaccharide derived from natural sources, and it's great for boosting systemic and oral health. And it acts as a biological response modifier, enhancing the body's natural properties. So let's say, like we did with the salic acid and the D-Mannose, we've bagged and tagged, hey, who's not supposed to be here? The beta glucan works by binding the specific receptor sites of the immune cells, like macrophages, neutrophils, and natural killer cells, activating them to do their job even better in response to pathogens. So we're promoting an antifungal response with it, an anti-pathogenic, all anti-pathogenic microbes. We're able to like hyperpower our immune system cells to be able to get an enormous response from it to go, okay, not only have we bagged, identified who needs to go, but let's hyperpower the immune system to go after these things. So it also reduces inflammation in there as well. It helps promote the dental pulp healing. It helps to reduce bone loss and it supports tissue resilience. So it's an alarm system activating the body's defenses and arming them. So rather than having say, hey, cool, the alarm went off, we're going to have somebody run in and they got to go fist fight. We're going to say, no, let's send you in with like full SWAT gear to go deal with this stuff. So it's really huge too for gum health. And it really encourages the healing process in the dental pulp, aiding in the repair of teeth. And it offers protection against bone loss and enhances the strength and resilience of oral tissues. And so this is a really neat ingredient. Nobody's using this one. Trehalose, yet another one. Works very well for dry mouth relief. Now, remember I talked about mouth breathing. That's a huge thing. When the oral cavity dries out, it's really hard on the microbiome of the teeth. So if your microbiome in your teeth, if you get the dry mouth, or you've got kids that mouth breathe, I've got one in particular that it makes a difference. And unfortunately, at the dentist, we can tell, and we didn't have DentiCore for a while. So unfortunately, we got slapped with some dental bills, and poor thing had to have stuff put in her mouth and whatever else. But this helps so much. She absolutely loves it because she doesn't get that dry mouth. So her oral health and her microbiome in her oral health stay way more supported. And then we also get tissue support so we can get a glycosaminoglycan turnover, which is essential for the healthy teeth. So it's this hydrating shield to make sure that we have that. And it really then works for the teeth, the gums, and everything in between, but also even balancing the link between your mouth, your gut, and your brain. So it also supports the important molecules that keeps your gums strong. And we could go way further into this, but we're not gonna today because it's we don't want to be here for that long. So Inulin FOS. What does this do? It feeds the good bacteria, reduces the growth of harmful bacteria, helps the mouth maintain a healthy pH level, which then reduces Rick's cavity. And then it really supports the gut oral access as well. And it has anti-inflammatory properties through short chain fatty acids, combats the bad breath, and supports a strong immune system. So this is just really support for your oral microbiome because one of the unfortunate things that people try to do, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill everything in my mouth. I want this antibacterial all over the place. But like, no, that's as bad as just taking antibiotics all the time. And most of you are probably aware how bad taking antibiotics are if you don't need to. What we want to do is target the bad, get them out there, and then nurture the good ones. So we don't want to kill them off. We want to feed the right ones and choke off and kill the wrong ones. White turmeric, anti-inflammatory properties, antimicrobial effects, nerve support, stem cell support. This is like our cellular handyman. And turmeric, you probably know all about turmeric everywhere. You've probably read all the different fun studies of what it does all over the body. but this white turmeric really helps your nerves, your gums, your immune system, inflammation, getting rid of the harmful germs, protecting the body with antioxidants, supporting nerve growth and stem cells, and the ability to differentiate these different cell types from the stem cells. White turmeric, really cool ingredient. Nobody's using that. Sweet wormwood. You may have heard of this for anti-parasitic activity. It's got artemisinin, but it also supports nerve repair through actin networks, antimicrobial, anti-parasitic, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, immune system support, and supports that oral gut access as well. So helps keeps the nerves, the teeth healthy. Contains the artemisinin, which supports that nerve repair, has the antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antioxidant effects. So this is big too for people that potentially have oral candida. How do you tell if you got it? Stick out your tongue. Yeah, is it all white? Bunch of candida on it. And so that's a big deal. Sweet wormwood is great for that, but it's not an indiscriminate killer. It doesn't just go target all the good bacteria and the good microbes in your mouth. It targets the bad ones specifically. So heal all, Prunella vulgaris. This is one of the coolest herbs in the world. So we get dentin support from it and support that dentin matrix synthesis and promotes reparative dentin formation. It works very well with tissue healing. It's got protective properties, antimicrobial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant support, and provides immune modulation as well. So this is like the foreman that coordinates all the dental repair. So as the name says, heal all. It was nicknamed that for a good reason because it really promotes all kinds of tissue healing. Hence the name heal all. So neem leaf, this one you've maybe heard in some other ones. It's a great one for antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-plaque, fighting tooth decay, reduces tooth sensitivity, so helps keep the gums and the teeth healthy with its anti-inflammatory and antibacterial stuff. So it also fights that plaque buildup and reduces tooth sensitivity. This one people are probably a little bit familiar with. Same with clove oil, which is eugenol, pain relief, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, dentin support, structural integrity of the teeth. So clove oil, you've probably heard many people be like, oh, you got a toothache, use clove oil. Well, not a bad option, but we've paired it and more together in this. Vitamin K2. Now, this is really important, especially when we're coming back to the calcium hydroxyapatite. If you're not getting the vitamin K2, this is what the body needs for calcium mobilization. So it directs the calcium into the teeth and bones. So like I said, if we just dump calcium hydroxyapatite, somewhere at the construction site, it doesn't get moved into anywhere. So adding this vitamin K2, this is like the traffic cop that says, hey, yeah, I would actually afford to say this is more like the forklift that says, hey, cool, we got all this raw material that needs to move into here. That's what vitamin K2 does. And that's what makes so many of these other toothpaste so inferior. They don't do any of these things. They don't understand them. They don't synergize them, and they don't have a third of the different ingredients that we're doing. So magnesium glycinate helps prevent deficiencies, weaken bone, gum tissue, enamel support, comfort and sensitivity, overall health, bone health, heart health, nerve function. Like we said, it's safe to swallow. It's not just safe, it's good for you. So it helps to address that magnesium deficiency because obviously if you've got one body wide, which a lot of people do, you're going to have one orally. So we're targeting directly in that oral health because this is an oral product. Now also sodium bicarbonate, baking powder or baking soda. Everybody knows what this stuff is. Really, really good for pH balance, preventing lactic acid buildup, great for removing plaque, assisting in remineralizing the enamel, gentle way to whiten teeth. So this one a bunch of people are familiar with, and it's put in a lot of toothpaste for a very good reason, but it's not the only thing we do. We also do calcium carbonate. So it provides like the best form of calcium to be able to be used with the vitamin K2 and the tricalcium phosphate and the calcium hydroxyapatite. It works very well for a gentle cleaning because you don't want to just like scrape the teeth surface off. You want to be able to do a gentle cleaning. It also does enamel support. It does pH balance yet again, neutralizing those acids. So anybody that's got coffee or if you're a smoker for some reason, makes your mouth very acidic, we can help combat that. So here's our science behind it. Now we've now covered the ingredients. Now we're going to kind of be talking about this stuff of the enamel support being the protective shield, hardest substance that there is. 96% of it is mineral content, and then there's 7 ingredients that we use to specifically target that: calcium hydroxyapatite, theobromine, tricalcium phosphate, bamboo extract, inulin FOS, vitamin K2, calcium carbonate. I'm not going to read all these things off just word for word, because we will have this available in the link in the comments. If it's on YouTube or wherever I post it, I will make sure that we have these comments where you can come read this for yourself. But through the Dentin, we're supporting using hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid, deer antler velvet, Sialic acid, sweet wormwood, Hyalol, Clove Oil, Magnesium Glycinate. Even if we had only just these ingredients, this would be a fire product, but we've got way more than that. So when the dentin gets exposed due to enamel wear or gum recession, leads to sensitivity, increased risk of decay. You get more plaque sitting down in there. So we help to strengthen that, reduce the sensitivity naturally. Then the cementum, what actually anchors the teeth in: calcium hydroxyapatite, tricalcium phosphate, hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid, deer antler velvet, bamboo extract. These really provide the necessary base compounds and ingredients needed to get the cementum. And then the living core, the pulp. We use the Nervonic Acid, deer antler velvet, D-Mannose, beta-glycan, white turmeric, sweet wormwood, and Hyalol to really get in and make sure that the pulp is supported, so that the tooth is nourished from the inside out, and the nerve is functioning appropriately, adequate blood flow. So gum health, we support the tissues here as well. Neem leaf, clove oil, white turmeric do the anti-inflammatory. Hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid provides structural support and like the actual scaffolding for the gums to grow. And this is what we're doing to support the tissues there. And we need the gums to protect the cementum, so that the cementum that actually anchors the tooth doesn't get eaten away. And then we do the microbiome support with D-Mannose, Trehalose, Inulin FOS, beta-glucan, Sialic Acid. We're supporting the oral microbiome. We're nurturing the good. We're targeting the bad. And then we're activating and superpowering the immune system to remove the bad and break up the biofilms. So we get this entire broad spectrum immune support for the mouth. We don't just kill the stuff in there and slap some minerals and say, hooray, we made a toothpaste. We did a full-blown immune support, protective barrier, microbial balance, cellular defense, anti-inflammatory, and working with stem cells and guiding them. And so what's really big to take a look at too is the oral gut connection. As Joey had said, this stuff, there's nothing wrong with swallowing it. Now, just to highlight, as he said, do a first brush, scrape off the plaque of whatever's there, do a first brush with that, rinse and spit it out. And I like to do a second one with more of it, and you leave it there, and I swallow it too, to go, listen, I know what's in here, because I'm also going to nurture the oral gut connection, because I rinsed out the bad, spit it out. Now I'm nurturing the good. And when I swallow, it's creating a synergy back and forth, because DentiCore literally feeds the body, the brain, the immune system, your oral health, your gut health. It's just an incredible product. So we use 100% natural, nothing synthetic, nothing artificial, nothing in the negative nanotechnology space. We use all of what God's already got created, and we paired it together in this beautiful, beautiful synergy. And so this gene technology, everything we do at Glycogenics, everything we do is based around this gene technology, which is this enhanced delivery system. So glyco-enhanced nano-encapsulation, or in our case here on this one, glyco-enhanced nanohydrogel for the teeth here. This nanohydrogel, like we said, it is not the nefarious hydrogels and nanogels that you've heard about, of things being in there. It should not be. We're creating this natural polysaccharide-based infusion complex that not only delivers the ingredients, but helps the body actually move them and build with them. So we carefully, in everything we do with Glycogenics, we make sure that we keep this glycoimmunology at the core. So we're doing enamel protection, dentin support, cementum support, pulp vitality, and microbiome balance, all in one. We're not just doing part of it, we're doing the whole thing. And so we're going way beyond clean, because traditional oral care is just like, hey, just remove the plaque, kill all the bacteria, and let's just scrape off the stains. Well, that's missing so much of it. And in this presentation, we kind of covered all the other things that are so much more important. So we've got the 4 pillars of health, the complete oral health, 4 essential pillars, and that are enamel, dentin, cementum, and pulp. We work together with all of those. We use specially targeted ingredients using all straight scientific approach, targeting all the genes, their pathways, and all the latest research. And we use only straight up natural solutions. And that's it, to make something that's not just good for you, it's great for you. And most importantly, it works and it works well. So, summing it up, Mr. Joey, any last words for us, sir?
Oh, well done. No last words. You nailed it, man. I mean, you hit all the topics that I would have talked about. So I would just leave it at that and say that this is the best product in the world.
That
Like I forgot,
toothpaste
dude,
ever.
I forgot to brush my teeth this morning, and I brushed last night. I got busy. I woke up early, had coffee, and I was going, going, going. I still have no plaque on my teeth. I'll just say that. No
Yep.
plaque, no dentist visit. Period. That's how it works.
Yeah, we've even had oral hygienists go, this is the best toothpaste I've ever used. So I'll take that, especially when they're the natural health ones that are not fans of fluoride either. They're like, I can't find a natural toothpaste that I don't hate. It's like, we got you. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the presentation. Stay tuned for more. And thanks to big shout out to Joey for his geniusness that he did. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned, and we're going to have a whole lot more. And enjoy your day, evening, night, morning, whatever else it is. We'll see you again soon.